What is going on, everybody? My name is Zach. I hope you are doing well. In this video, I want to talk about something I talked about last night on a live stream. It was a spur of the moment stream, and I realized a lot of you were not able to participate. I'm sorry, it was not announced. It was spur of the moment. So we're going to do this video to kind of recap. And at the end of this, I'm mostly looking for your guys' opinions. So I think that there is a widening gap in understanding between us DoorDash drivers and customers. I get daily notifications for anything trending about DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, or realistically, like several companies within the gig economy space. And it's becoming a trend to see articles written with a kind of nasty undertone about drivers. And these articles are mostly all saying the same things. They're saying that we're essentially holding their orders hostage by not accepting them because we demand an upfront tip. Well, that last part is usually the case, but they're approaching this in a way where they're assuming that we're waiters or waitresses at a restaurant, and the customer just wants to see how the service is before tipping. Like, motherfucker, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that here. We're not making your food. We're not bringing your food to your table, asking you if you need a refill on your water. No, it's not like that. We're using our own vehicles. We're using our own gas. We're paying for our own insurance, hopefully. You guys get my point here. And like I said, my opinion on this subject has kind of shifted. And the reason for that is I believe that a lot of people, I firmly believe that a large percentage of the population formulates their opinions based on what they see on either the news, social media, YouTube. And so when you have these inflammatory articles being written about drivers, that's going to reach the masses. And if they all think we're just entitled pricks, eventually, it's going to get to the point where none of them are wanting to tip because they assume that we're just entitled pieces of shit. And it realistically couldn't be further from the truth on that. So I have two questions for you. Number one, do you care what the customers think? You can go based on what I just said, or you can go, based on your own ideas about what I'm talking about, whatever. And number two, if you do care, how do we bridge the gap without putting our accounts in jeopardy? We could accept DoorDash orders with no tips on them, write the customer a message like, hey, I'm not delivering this because you don't respect my time, and I'm not going to make any money if I do this order. Do not do this. That will get you deactivated. Like, straight up, do not do that. We can't have that conversation in person. Most of our orders are leaving at the door, and the same thing would happen. They pick up the phone, say, hey, this guy said I was being insulting with my tip. Boom, we're done. So we can't talk to our DoorDash customers about tips on DoorDash. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we make them understand that without tips, we are operating at a loss? You guys, it's like there's no outrage about going into a restaurant and paying a marked up price for having a meal prepared for you, right? We're not just going into the restaurant, ordering something, and paying the exact price of the food that they used, right? We're paying the cost of the food plus something to have it prepared for us. Another thing, if you wanted to hire, say, a house cleaner to come in once a week and do something that you could have done for yourself, we're not just paying for the cost of the cleaning supplies. We're paying for the cleaning supplies, and we're paying for that person's time. Why is it that we're being made into the bad guy for not being willing to take a loss on these orders, right? Like, we're in this to make money. We're not operating a fucking charity here. So these articles all seem to have one thing in common. And maybe I should just stay the fuck away from them, but you know, they're in my face so frequently, and I kind of see the tone that these are taking, and they frequently have a shit ton of people that are commenting under them about how we're entitled and they're not going to tip until blah 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 blah, right? How do we educate people without putting our accounts at risk? Do you care? Do you care what they think? Am I just reading into something that is possibly a non-issue? I don't know. Maybe. You know, let me know. But really, at the end of the day, I'm seeing this more and more and more and more. And in the comments, there's never anybody who chimes in for the drivers. It almost always seems to be customers that think that we are doing something wrong. We're not doing our jobs by not accepting these orders. So how do we bridge that gap? You know, I told this story on my live stream last night. Yesterday. I was out driving for lunch, and I was doing I believe it was an Instacart order, and believe it or not. And on my way back, I was heading back into the area that I wait, Barclay Village, and I saw this little kid with his parents outside, and we're in the middle of a heat wave. Supposedly Seattle got up to like 100 yesterday. I don't know. Anyway, it was hot, and I made the mistake of like looking over to see what they were doing. It turns out it was a lemonade stand, and I saw that this kid looked sad, and I'm like, well, fuck. So I didn't have any money on me, but I'm like, well, shit, you know, like, I don't know. It tugged at my heartstrings, right? Like I pictured, you know, my son out there doing something like that. And I'm like, you know, I got to support this. So I ran to the closest ATM and I pulled out $20. And I drove back, and the kid was super happy to see somebody getting out of the car. So I got a lemonade, and I gave him, you know, and it was $3, kind of expensive for a lemonade, but I guess it's, you know, it's 2022 and inflation's a bitch. So he had this little jar with all the money in there, and when he turned it, he had the words, or his parents had written the words, and the kid was like 4, trampoline fund on it. And I thought to myself, man, his parents are doing something right here. They're teaching that kid that he wants something and he needs to go work for it. So I decided that $3 lemonade was going to come with a $17 tip. And I explained to the kid what his parents, like, you know, were about to step in to try to help him make change. And I kind of just like, you know, hold on. And I explained to him that he is doing a service for me that I could have done for myself, and I appreciate that, and I respect that he is out there spending his time to do something for me. And so he got to keep the rest of that money. So his face lit up. It was a cool experience, and you know, I hope that he remembers that moving forward. He's providing a service that I otherwise could have done for myself. So yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to tip him. It's our own gas. It's our own vehicles. It's our own insurance. We're not getting reimbursed for that stuff, people. We do not run a charity. You are under no obligation to accept a single order. Do not lose money doing this. Do not lose money doing this. Matter of fact, I read, and sorry if I'm rambling at this point, but I keep the brain just keeps going. I read a book on investing a year or two back. It was called Rule 1 Investing. And the first rule of investing, according to this guy's book, was don't lose money. Well, guys, it's the same principle for gig work. We can sit there and accept every DoorDash offer and break even, or we could lose money. do not lose money doing gig work. But I digress. Anyway, I think I've asked this 3 or 4 times now, but just to wrap up the video, do you care if more and more customers are thinking that we're just terrible people for not delivering their order? And how do we educate people without risking our accounts? From our perspective, how do we teach them how little we make and that we really do rely on their generosity in the form of a tip? Sorry for the long-winded kind of rant type of video. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, please do consider pressing the like and subscribe button. I cannot wait to hear your opinions in the comment section below. I do ask that you guys keep it respectful with each other. We may have differing opinions. That is okay. Just keep it respectful. Anyway, my name is Zach. I'll catch you guys soon.